Hey, it's Layla from Empower English Tutoring, and I'm going to show you some other ways you can say increase when you're talking about a graph or general trend. This is the first part in a series of how to describe graphs, trends, and patterns, which is important for part 1 of the writing section of the IELTS exam and also for general business situations. Next week, we'll look at ways to say decrease, then how to say that a trend has both increased and decreased, and finally, at how to use adverbs to make your writing and your speaking about graphs stronger. So let's get started with increases. The first of 5 words and expressions we'll go through is to climb. That means to increase steadily, which means to increase little by little over time. For example, last month, product X sales climbed from 5% of our total revenue to 7%. The graph indicates that the number of people who owned a computer between 1985 and 1999 climbed at a rate of about 3% per year. The second word we'll talk about is to soar, which means to suddenly increase to a very high number, percentage, or ratio. You could think of a bird soaring really high in the sky. That's what that refers to. For example, my thyroid hormone levels soared starting in January. That is why I've been so tired. The number of users of electric vehicles in the city soared last year when the city council offered a tax break on them. Number 3 is to rocket. It also means to suddenly increase to a very high number, percentage, or ratio. David couldn't believe how much the percentage of satisfied customers rocketed last quarter after the new training program was implemented. The difference between the percentage of the population without polio and the percentage who contracted polio rocketed skyward in 1952. The fourth one is to shoot up, which also means to suddenly increase. It refers to a gun being shot in the air or a rocket shooting up in the air. The number of wolves living in the wild is expected to shoot up next year compared to how many were in the wild 5 years ago. The ratio of people who believe this is a good idea to those who don't shot up within the last 6 months. And the last expression or word is to rise. That means to increase steadily. I will prove that using this product will help your company's sales to rise steadily over the next 12 months. In the last 3 years, our 5-year employee retention rate has risen considerably from 90 to 95% due in large part to our new benefits. Here's the final challenge. What sentence can you write in the comments that uses the vocabulary from this lesson that describes this graph? Be sure to also look back at the sentences in the examples to use vocabulary that may be new to you, like implemented or contracted. Those are high-level vocabulary words that you can incorporate into your vocabulary for your writing. I look forward to seeing what you've written. Take care.